Hey everybody, excited for today's Friday review. I get to debut a product that was only available in Europe for the last 2.5 years. I was able to get one of them though and use it over that period of time. So I've been using this, I would say almost nightly for 2 years. One of my favorite products out there, and that is because it's so simple to use. It is analog, it's no more Wi-Fi based devices, and it helps calm the nervous system, get you into deeper sleep faster. Can't wait to share that with you. Finally available in the United States, and I've got one of the first. So we'll go over that. I've got 2 research studies as always. One that's going to be important, and this is not a topic that a lot of people like to talk about, but many people start to become a little bit more incontinent as they get older. I've got a simple set of exercises that we're going to go through here today that help to reduce incontinence, and a brand new heart research study that shows how to rewire the nervous system essentially that connects the heart and the brain, what you need to know. And I'm going to detail all of that here today. So let's dive right in. Of course, we always do a recap. If you missed anything earlier in the week, and hopefully you didn't, on Monday we went over a show that you need to listen to, and it was called What Are You Doing When No One Is Watching? So not meant to be a creepy show or anything like that. It's actually talking about you've got big goals. You have potential that you may not have reached yet. We all have potential that we haven't got there yet, right? And so the thing is, if someone was watching you, right, would they see the person who's actually working towards the goals you've set for yourself? Don't miss that show. That's one of my favorites. So that was on Monday. On Tuesday, we went over the case of the mystery digestive issues. We're actually going through a bacteria and a parasite stool test. And this is going to be another one of our mystery health cases. These are real clients of Ecolife. I've never met them before. My team sets up a consultation. We go through their lab. I read their lab with them. I listen to their symptoms, and then I share with them a wellness-based plan right on the spot, answer their questions, and they are off and running, all in under 25 minutes. So definitely check out those shows. They've been a lot of fun. We'll probably create our own health category on those at stephencabral.com/podcasts. And then on Wednesday, we did a rare interview. I hardly interview people, but I will be doing more interviews coming next year. But I was able to sit down with Dr. Josh Axe and his partner, and really one of his best friends, Jordan Rubin. They've done a lot in the health industry. Jordan's been doing this forever, and so has Dr. Josh Axe. They wrote a new book. It's called The Biblio Diet. I wanted to check it out. I was interested, and I said, hey, when's the book debut? Great. Let's hop on a show. Let's talk about it. Let's have a little fun. I didn't, pull back on the questions and ask them great questions, and we went over all of that. So don't miss that show either. And then yesterday, we went through, can you actually detox viral spike proteins? So I gave you the truth on that, the unbiased truth, and maybe 5 different ingredients from nature that actually help to maybe do just that. So check out that show, but it's now time to move on with our Friday review. So let's get to the product debut. I love being able to bring you these products. So this is my product. It is well worn in this felt case. I've had this now for about 2.5 years. The reason I first saw this is I was looking for a device in order to stimulate the vagus nerve. Now, it's kind of an oxymoron when you say stimulate the vagus nerve, because when you stimulate the vagus nerve, what you're really doing is calming your central nervous system. And when you calm your central nervous system, you reduce anxiety, you reduce worry, you reduce overwhelm. And when that happens and you do it before bed, you get deeper sleep. And that's what I noticed. And so I actually shared this with the High Performance Health Group. If you're a part of HPH, you know what that's all about. For those of you who don't know about it, you can check it out at highperformancehealth.org. But here's the thing. They couldn't get it unless they were in Europe. Now, some people were in Europe, and so they were excited they got it. Some people knew people in Europe, and they had one shipped to them. So this is all the device looks like. So if you're listening, or if you're just listening to this, not watching it on video, definitely check it out over on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel every single day. We try to put out some great, positive, new content. But this is the whole device. It is, and if you're just listening, this device fits in the palm of my hand. And it is, let's say that it's like half the size of an iPhone, and maybe it is in about half the width, almost like a remote control to your TV, a small one, okay? So all it does is it has a power button on the bottom, and then it has an up button, the plus sign, and then a negative button to lower. And what you're going to do is simply loop this over your ear, and I'm watching this right now. I'm sharing this right now in video, and you clip it to that little pointy part of the front of the ear. That's called the tragus. That's all that you have to do. Now, you press the power button, and you will press the plus sign until you start to feel a little buzz, a little bit of a tingle on the ear. That's all that you want, just perceptible, just barely perceptible. And what that's doing is that wave is actually, when it's connected to the tragus of the ear, moving down the vagus nerve from your brain stem, essentially, down to your gut. And it is calming the central nervous system, calming your autonomic nervous system, and putting you out of the sympathetic nervous system and more into the parasympathetic nervous system, where rest and repair and rejuvenation take place. I've used a bunch of different devices, and I'm not saying they're bad. I've actually I've debuted some of them on the podcast. This is the best one to date because there's no Wi-Fi, there's no Bluetooth. It is just a cord, and you'll see this right here. This is beside my bed. What else do I keep beside my bed? A little throat spray. If I ever feel something building up in the back of my throat before bed, 2-3 sprays, that's it. I always have a bottle of my liquid melatonin beside the bed. So if I'm ever not able to really fall asleep in 20 minutes, let's just say, I'll just take a dropper of that. I already take some before bed. I can add a little bit more, no harm, we're good. And that's it. Sometimes I might have a little bottle of the magnesium oil I can spray on, but I usually typically do that before bed too. So that's it. That's what I have there. I start to read a book. 20 minutes later, maximum of reading, I'm ready to fall asleep. And that's why my latency is usually less than 10 minutes, because I'm ready to pass out. I'm ready to fall, ready to sleep. And this has been a big part of that. So again, there's only so many healthy biohacking gadgets that you want. This is one that I use. So I always I get sent things all the time. I actually requested this from the company. I said, hey, you're in Europe. I would love to review your product when you come to the US. If I use it, I'd love to talk about it. And that's exactly what we are doing. So this is the new product. It's called the Nuropod, and I'm going to link it up at stephencabral.com/3549. I'll also put it on my resources page at stephencabral.com/resources. I think we are able to get you the maximum discount right now, which is 5 or 10%. That's all that they're offering. And it's just limited supply as they enter the US. It's a great product. It does what it says it's going to do. It's essentially a TENS unit that works. That's basically it. Best one that I've used 5 different of these TENS unit based devices. I get to choose any company I want to promote. They're not sponsoring me in any way. And that's it. They won. So they're the best that I've seen. If I ever change and improve in the future, then certainly I'll give you that as well. But this will never go out of style because it does what it's supposed to do. And that's simply click on, stimulate the vagus nerve, calm the whole central nervous system. You can use it anytime during the day. Honestly, you're stressed during the day, pop it on. You can use that as well. So I'm going to link it up, stephencabral.com/3549. We'll link that up for you. And then of course it'll be at stephencabral.com/resources. All right, let's get into our research for the day. This first one just came out. Now again, small animal-based study. So I don't want to get, over the edge here, but here's what they found, and this is important, that regular moderate aerobic training appeared to literally rewire the nerves that control the heart. So this is essentially the autonomic nervous system. Now, the autonomic nervous system is important because we've got the sympathetic nervous system, we've got the parasympathetic nervous system. When you're stressed, it harms the heart. When you're relaxed, it relaxes the heart. We want that. But also, the heart is beating whether we're thinking about it beating or not, right? That's really important as well, that's continuing. But what happens is, as we do something like aerobic-based cardio, it begins to remodel. So you've got these maybe damaged nerves and the heart's it's not that it's not beating properly, it's that there's more stress on the heart itself. And so what the aerobic exercise seemed to have done was lower resting heart rate, improve autonomic balance, so stress on the heart versus relaxation, and protect against arrhythmias, pointed to 2 nerve-targeted therapies that may be able to be used in the future. Now, I'm all for therapies that improve human lifespan and hopefully health span. But also at the same time, with these studies, I'm saying, listen, we just showed we need to move our bodies as humans. So brisk walking, believe it or not, counts. But a lot of people so walking is amazing. And if that's all you do, then I'm happy with that. Like if you get in your 7,500 to 10,000 steps a day, I'm honestly fantastic. I'm good with that. But if we just take it a little bit up, so let's think about what would zone 2. I did a whole podcast on just simplifying this. For most people, zone 2 is 110 beats per minute to 130 beats per minute. Like as you get above the age of 30 to 60, that's about it. Once you get over 60, you're going to bring that down to about 100 to 120. But anyway, we're going to keep it simple, 110 to 130. Most people aren't getting their heart rate to 110 when they're walking unless they're maybe deconditioned, okay? But also others, they just need to push it just a little bit more. So maybe you don't want to jog, maybe you don't want to go for a bike, that's okay. Between getting in a hot sauna and or doing brisk walking, you're actually getting aerobic exercise. How much do we need? There's this golden number, literally golden number that hasn't changed. It's about 150 minutes per week. 30 minutes, 5 days per week. Now that's that brisk walk or incline walking or jogging or elliptical or upright bike, etc. You just have to get that heart rate to that 110 to 130 and you begin to enjoy all of this autonomic balance and rewiring. Literally, they said rewiring, remodeling of the heart, the nerves around the heart. And they could see the evidence in the brain, how the brain connected to the heart, reducing stress on it. So cycling, swimming, brisk walking, jogging, any of those things count. We just need to do it. 30 minutes, 5 days per week, that'll do it. Or 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 4 days per week. Either way, you can make it happen. And honestly, you have to make this part of just your routine. It just kind of has to get done. Maybe you hop on an upright bike. It can be an inexpensive one. I've got lots of recommendations at stephencabral.com/resources. And what I did was I actually bought this little tray. Maybe I'll do a review on that. And it just wheels right up to it. You can put a laptop on it. You can put an iPad on it and enables you then to just say, oh, yeah, I'm just going to plunk down and watch my favorite show, watch my favorite YouTube. And I'm just going to do it for 40 minutes, 4 days a week, done, right? So you have to make it just kind of part of the lifestyle. But when the number one killer is heart disease, oh, I think this is something that we need to pay more attention to. All right, the last one is this, much shorter, yoga and incontinence. Now, a lot of people might say, why are you bringing up incontinence? Why are you talking about this? Is it really an issue? The answer is yes, for men and women, but in my practice, I see more women affected by it than men, especially after having a few children. So what we want to do is strengthen the pelvic floor. Now you can do physical therapy, you can work with a personal trainer, you can do exercises at home. Either way, it's all great. But what I wanted to share with you is that this really works. So let's go over it right now. Recent finding, this was out of women 45 to 90 years old, research at Stanford Medicine in University in California, San Fran, published in the Annals of Internal Medicine. Recent finding, women who attended 2 90-minute classes per week that included learning 16 hatha yoga poses, just put a pin in that, we'll talk about that in a second, intended for pelvic floor strengthening, had a 65% reduction in urinary incontinence after 90 days, so 3 months. This was an average of 2.3 fewer episodes daily. Women in the control group who took classes of the same length and frequency, but focused on non-specific stretching and strengthening exercises had an average of 1.9 daily incontinence episodes after 3 months. All right. So either way, some exercise helped, but not quite double, 1.9 to 2.3 hatha yoga-based exercises. Now, hatha yoga is gentle yoga. Just kind of keep that in mind. These people are not doing hot yoga or anything hard, but they are doing things like bridging and planking and other exercises to help strengthen that pelvic floor. So you can do it at home, but also 2 90-minute yoga classes were able to help with this as well. My opinion, if you're like, well, 90 minutes is way too long, no doubt about it. You could do this in 3 15-minute sessions per week specific to pelvic floor exercises. So if you're dealing with incontinence right now, look up on YouTube, best pelvic floor exercises for incontinence. Trust me, you will find a plethora of videos walking you through just exactly what to do. And you don't need more than 5 exercises, 5 times a minute to 90 seconds. You're looking at 10 minutes. That's it. And the more days, the better, honestly, because you're not doing these to exhaustion. That's not what training your pelvic floor is all about. So if you can get in 3 to 5 days a week, 10, 15 minutes per. That could just be part of your workout. They're great exercises anyways that honestly everybody should be doing. You're going to get a lot of benefit. All right. Hopefully this was helpful. I always link everything up, all the research at stephencabral.com/3549. I'll link up the Nuropod there. I'll give you our discount code if we get one, and I'm sure that we will. And that's it. All right. I'll be back tomorrow with our Cabral house calls, answering all of our community's questions. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.